It's a teen talk skating podcast where I embarrass myself. Hello, and welcome to episode number 72 of the Teen Talk Skating podcast. My name is Van Gogh, and number 72 is quite a large number, and that's a big number. Anywho, I honestly feel like this is my summer, not to rant, but I feel like this is my summer. Like, this is the summer where I improve myself, where I work on myself, where I do like 5 million things to become like a better person. Like, I've been exercising, I've been doing work and stuff, been reading and writing, and just like, I feel so good this summer. And like, it's only been like a week or like 2 weeks, and this week I really started to like lock in and focus and like work on myself and stuff. And I feel just so good by it. I've been exercising. Can you believe that? That's crazy. Anyway, I hope you guys are doing very, very well. I hope the summer is going good for you too. If you're done with school, if you're still working, I hope everything's going well. This episode I know is gonna be kind of hectic and long, and I have like a bunch of things to say, so I probably should get this little segment over with. But I hope you guys are all doing well, and yeah, let's go over to our program of the week. I really like this program, so yeah. Program of the week. Okay, guys, so for your program of the week, as you heard in the theme song, our amazing program of the week segment, this is a program from a skater who I feel like is underrated. Like, we don't talk about her enough these days, and I feel like she should be talked about more because I really do enjoy her skating. And that is Laura Lepisto of Finland. This is her 2009 Europeans free skate. Now, I will say the 2009 Europeans were held in Helsinki in Finland, so she was skating in front of a home crowd, which I always feel like makes so many skating moments so special is when skaters are able to skate in front of their home crowd, and this is definitely no exception to that. Laura Lepisto in the 2009 European Free Skate, she was skating to the music from the film Don Juan de Marco by Michael Kamen, I believe is how you say that. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but I really do like this program because it really does highlight a lot of Laura Pisto's very classical qualities. I feel like she is a very classical skater with a little bit of a personal touch, if that makes sense. She has a little flair and little drama to everything. In the beginning, for example, she has a lot of hand motion. She has a lot of like quick steps that are like back and like little tiny steps that are like quick and back and forth, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense at all, but it has a little like flourish to it, and it's a very smooth movement, and then she pushes back on her skate to get into her crossovers. You know, I will say her first opening jumpy double axel, her posture going into it and going out of it is so perfect. Like, if I had that kind of posture, like my back wouldn't hurt all the time. You know what I mean? Like, her back going into it is so straight. Her back coming out of it is so straight. It's a very simple jump. It goes up, it goes down. She landed beautifully, and her posture so good through it, and good extension at the very end as well. Another point of interest is the spiral sequence, which was required back then for all the women to do a spiral sequence. Laura Pizza's spiral sequence is definitely beautiful. She has a one-handed Bielman spiral, and she has one hand forward, and then she lets go of the Bielman spiral, and she puts the other hand forward and the first hand up, if that makes sense. It's such a beautiful transition, and she does it all the way across the rink. It's beautiful. And then she heads into a second spiral. It looks like she's done with her spiral sequence. I wasn't expecting it, but she kind of walks or skates backwards, and then she puts her leg up, and it's like very beautiful moment to watch. The jumps in this program are great as well. The triple toe, double toe is done very well. Um, and you know, you can definitely tell a lot of the home crowd was very much rooting for her, and I think that made the moment much more special. She has this like smile on her face that I think she's just so overjoyed with skating in front of the home crowd. I think that it's just so special for her. It's a beautiful moment. They're with her every step of the way. The ending of the program I really do enjoy as well. She does her final spin, and then she kind of spins and then puts her hands out real quick, and then she does another cute spin, and then she puts her hands out again, like she's just like bam, like I just did that, and then she ends the program with her hand up and leaning back, and I think it's a great moment. And she does win the 2009 Europeans title in front of her home crowd, which I think is a super special moment as well. So yeah, definitely a lot of special moments here, a lot of drama. I feel like Laura Lepisto is not like noted enough. I think she has the drama queen ability. her theatrical acting ability, I think, is great. She manages to sell her programs really, really well and become she's very confident. I feel like she's a very confident skater, and I really do enjoy that. So please go check it out after you listen to this episode, Laura Lepisto and her 2009 Europeans free skate. Go check it out. But now it is time for our program. Or no, that is not time for our program of the week. That was our program of the week. It's time for our main episode. That was your program of the week. Okay, guys, so if you have not already seen, the figure skating Grand Prix assignments have been released, so it's time where like figure skating fans like obsessively speculate over these assignments and what the results will be like 4 months in advance. Like I'm not even kidding. The assignments release in June and the first Grand Prix is not even until the middle of October. So we are literally 4 months like before the Grand Prix actually start and everybody is looking over the Grand Prix assignments. So I don't want to be left out, obviously. I know I am like a tiny bit late. I know they technically released last Friday, but I already had an episode planned out for last Friday. So now we're analyzing them this Friday. But anyway, yeah, the Grand Prix assignments, if you don't know, here's a quick summary of what they are. To me, they're basically the Grand Prix, like, Hunger Games. Does that make sense? They're the Hunger Games of figure skating. You don't know what assignment you're gonna get. You don't know which skaters are gonna go where necessarily. And there are these very prestigious events where skaters aim to win or podium, and if they, if they win or they podium, they get a certain amount of points, and whoever the top six skaters who get the most points qualify to the Grand Prix final, which is a very, very prestigious competition that you have to qualify for. It's very difficult to qualify for, and it is a very important competition. So basically, you get your name drawn, basically, and stuff, and you get put into different events. If you do really well at those events, you end up getting points, and those points can help you qualify to the Grand Prix final, which you definitely want to go attend because it is a very important, prestigious event. If you do well at that, that is a very good result for you and it does look very good for you. So yeah, that is very, very, very general. I do have another episode explaining more in depth what each type of competition is. If you want to go check that out, it's back August 2024 ish, kind of. But I want to note that these Grand Prix are really, really important next season. Usually they're important, but these ones are really important for the 2025-2026 season because, of course, it is the Olympic season. We're going to the Olympics in Milano Cortina in 2026. And the Grand Prix are really the main indicator before the Olympics of who the front runners are. They are the really big moments to compete internationally. And show who is really going to be the front runners and potentially even podium or do really well at the Olympic Games in Milano Cortina. And so, really paying attention to these results, having the right predictions, analyzing the results skaters get is all super duper, 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 duper important. And who makes it to the Grand Prix final, obviously, because those are the best skaters from the Grand Prix. Those people on the Grand Prix final are usually the ones who also end up doing really well at the Olympics. And so, it kind of makes sense. But again, I hope that was not too confusing. Basically, today, for the sake of keeping these episodes short, because I really like to rant, we're going to be discussing and previewing the assignments that have been given to the men and the ice dance. Next week will be women and pairs. I did not feel like doing men, women, pairs, and ice dance all in one episode because to me that is a little rushed, and I know I'd be talking for like 2 hours at the minimum. So today we're going to talk about men and ice dance, and the next week will be part two where I will talk about the women and pairs assignments. Keep in mind that all of these assignments can change. Skaters withdraw because of injury, because of visa issues, because of illness. It could be a million things they could withdraw for. And so new skaters will get added in. Most of the assignments, however, will probably remain the same. I don't expect or we don't anticipate any big changes or issues with, visas or sickness or injury, God forbid. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, hopefully no withdrawals. So, yeah, I know it is 4 months in advance. And again, it is a little bit ridiculous that we are all previewing and, trying to predict results 4 months in advance when none of the skaters have even competed this season. But, it's a little fun. I hope you guys don't take this like too seriously because my predictions are never really that right. But, yeah. Okay, this year we have a new order of Grand Prix, which is a little disorienting because it's weird because I feel like for the last 2 years we had kind of the same order. But this year's Grand Prix are the Grand Prix de France in Angers in France, the Cup of China in Chongqing, China, the Skate Canada in Saskatoon in Canada. NHK Trophy is in Osaka, Japan. Skate America is in Lake Placid in the USA. And the Finlandia Trophy is in Helsinki, Finland. I hope I did not say any of those names wrong. If I did, there's going to be a lot of mispronouncing this episode, and I'm very sorry for that. I really do try my best. I'm not trying to butcher anyone's name on purpose. But anyway, starting with the men's event, the men. I just think there is no way that the men are not going to be chaotic. So to me, like, is there any point in doing these predictions? I have no idea. I will say that this is the only discipline with no like major comebacks that really shake the field up. The other disciplines, as I will talk about, have a lot of different comebacks and interesting pairing happening, and yeah, but the men are kind of being normal for once, for sure. Okay, starting with Grand Prix de France, which is our first event. It will be the first Grand Prix event, and it does really start off strong. We start off strong with a matchup between Ilya Malinin, who is the current two-time world champion, and Adam Shawnfa, who has beaten Ilya Malinin before. I will say that this is a home event for Adam Shawnfa, who does skate for France. He's going to be on French ice. The last time that they did both compete in France was 2 seasons ago at this same event, Grand Prix de France, and Adam Shawnfa actually didn't end up winning over Ilya Malinin, but I will say Adam Shawnfa did not have the most consistent season last season. So this will be very interesting. I feel like Ilya Malinin has been more consistent overall. He has greater technical potential, clearly, with his quad axle and his attempted 10,000 quad layout. And I do think Ilya Malinin is definitely primed for first place here. Adam Shawnfa, we will see how he factors in. He's skating on home ice, which, I think is always a good thing for a lot of skiers. Adam Shawnfa seems to really enjoy skating on home ice. So, you know. And so yeah, I will say first and second will be a battle between those two. Last time we were here, Adam Schoenfeld was first, Ilya Malinin was second. Will it be the same result here? I have no idea. Okay, third place is very much a toss-up between Lucas Britsky, who is the current European champion, Kalmira, who is excellent but has had struggles with injuries and consistency, and Andrew Torgashev, who has been inconsistent but did really well at the same event last year. All three of these skiers kind of score around the same scoring potential in general from last season anyway. In terms of who scored the best overall, I believe Kalmira has the highest personal best out of all three of these skaters. So perhaps that is going to be his winning point here. But to me, he was unfortunately struggling with a lot of injury last season, and he wasn't too consistent because of that. So I do think there is a large chance that someone like Lucas Britsky, who, is the current European champion, he scores decently well. If he can be decently clean, he could very well end the third place medal here. Andrew Torgashev is a very interesting case because Andy Torgashev did really well at his Grand Prix last season. Like, it was actually very shockingly surprising for a lot of people how well Andy Torgashev did at his Grand Prix. But unfortunately, he ended up going to Worlds, and he had a very unfortunate free skate there. So perhaps he is not the most consistent skater, but he did really do well at this event last year. He ended up getting third place at Grand Prix de France last year. So yeah, two other skaters who I think could be um what is it? Like, kind of wild cards are Gabriele Francopani of Italy, and then Mikhail Selevko of Estonia. But could be a little interesting there. Um Gosh, this is a really hard event. Nika Igadze could be very much a wild card as well from Georgia. Yeah, also, if you're wondering where I got all the info from, like, who's going to what Grand Prix, it isn't like top secret info. The ISU didn't like hand me confidential information. It is very much available on the ISU website. It's also available if you search around on Reddit, on I don't know, Blue Sky, on X, on Instagram. It's kind of everywhere right now. So if you want to follow along on like who's going where, definitely go there. But I'm just discussing my main like top runners. Now France does have a TBD spot because they have a every country that hosts a Grand Prix gets TBD like their own like spots because they host the event. That's their like reward for hosting the event. I think the TBD spot for France could probably go to Francois Pitot, who doesn't have two Grand Prix assignments. So I feel like he will probably get two Grand Prix assignments if France gives him the home spot. But anyway, here at Grand Prix de France, I'm predicting first Ile Malinen, second Adam Schoenfeld, and third maybe Lucas Britsky, but that could definitely be someone else. It could be Kalmira, it could be Andrew Torgashev. After France, we will be going to China the week after. This one, to me, is probably the most competitive out of all the Grand Prix events. I think there's a lot of technical powerhouses here and a lot of people who have a lot of artistry as well. And so this one will really be a play of sorts. Mikhail Shadorov of Kazakhstan is definitely the front runner after a great season last season. He soared up in the ranks last season. He ended up winning 4 continents and a silver medal at Worlds. He was very much unexpected. And I think he really could take the title here if he continues that technical potential. We also have Daniel Grazl of Italy, who qualified to the Grand Prix final uh, behind Mikhail Shadorov, who, Daniel Grazl is a skater who kind of struggled with his rotations last season. So everything depends on if Daniel Grazl can rotate or not. But he does have a very great chance at a medal, I would say, for sure. Shun Sato of Japan had really great results too, especially at the World Team Trophy. Last season, he did kind of struggle with both the quad lutz and the quad flip, if I remember correctly. I think more so the quad flip. But, at the World Team Trophy, he delivered probably the best performance of his whole season. And that was the end of the season where everyone's super tired and everything. If he's able to, like, repeat that kind of performance, he could very well much take the title here, bearing any mistakes from the other skaters. Shunsato is a skater who I think is really growing on me artistically as well. Um, Artistically, he's really improved, and he's really connecting more with his music. So components wise, I think he should be getting a little bit higher results there too. So he could very much factor into this. Junwon Cha, um, what is this? Jungwon Cha is also competing in this event on behalf of South Korea, and Jungwon Cha is a skater who artistically does really well, technically does struggle a bit here and there, but he did really well at 4 continents and then the Asian Winter Games, which he won, so that could also factor into it. Boying Jin is known for starting the whole quad revolution. He's landed the quad lutz, he's landed multiple quads. He can kind of go wherever. It depends on how consistent he is. Boying Jin from China, he's going to be competing on home ice. I'm not sure how that's going to factor into everything. He is a good skater for sure. Consistency wise, he is a little bit up and down, but he's really trying to make it to his third Olympics, and I would really love to see that for him. Denis Vasias is my favorite skater, so I'm really, 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 really biased. But this is a very competitive field, and I know that he doesn't have the technical potential all the time, especially struggling with his quad salchow that he's been working on. But if he's able to land those quad salchows, like, come on, like, please. Artistically, he's among the strongest here, so components-wise, he should be really good. The technical side, I'm a little bit worried about, but yeah. I just want him to do really well here. I'm top 6, please. Top 6 for him. Dennis Osias, please. Um, but yeah, Cup of China is definitely going to be an event to keep an eye on. There is a TV spot for China. No idea who really could go to. China has like a very large pool of men to select from, so that could be definitely very difficult. But here I'm going to predict first is Mikhail. That was so bad. Mikhail Shadorov from Kazakhstan. Daniel Grazl is second from Italy, and third for me will be Shunsato of Japan. Yeah. Moving along to the third event, Skate Canada will be held in Saskatoon, which I don't think it's been at in a while, so that will be fun. Ilya Malinin again really headlined this event, technical superiority over the rest of the field. Um, with so much technical potential, there is so much leeway kind of to make mistakes for Ilya Malinin, so he could mess up on one or two jumping passes and still do really, really well if he gets really great Chewy. Oh my god, what is that outside? It's like 11. What are they doing? That is so scary. It's my air conditioner, I swear. It's not even on right now. Anyway, yeah, Illuminated, I feel like he does have a lot of leeway to make mistakes. His technical base value is so high that making mistakes still could put him over the rest of the field. I have no idea what that is. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, I will say Kevin Amos is a skater here who could do really well, but it really depends on his consistency. Kevin Amos was a skater who had, some extremely low scores in the beginning of last season, and then he did an extremely high score the next competition, and then it would go low again and a little high, and he ended up getting fifth at Worlds, I believe. So that was really good. But consistency wise, um, yeah, consistency wise, it was very much a struggle to watch Kevin Amos last season. He was doing really well at some points. He was doing not so well at some points. A similar case with Kazuki Tomono of Japan, who consistency is really the main struggle with him. So he could very much get on the podium. He could very much not get on the podium. We're not too sure, but he is able to do both the quad toe and the quad salchow as he's done in the past. So if he's able to get all those jumps clean, I could see Kazuki Tomono pulling a surprise here, but we'll see. Nikki Gadze and Nikolai Momola are kind of in the same boat for me in the sense that they both have very good technical skills. Nikki Gadze from Georgia, very much known for a very technically heavy program instead of an artistically heavy program. Nikolai Momola more so a little bit more on the artistic side. He does only have the quadlets, if I believe, as his main quad, but he does land that very well. Sometimes he does get an edge call on it, but both of them could very much be on the podium as well. Nikolai Momola last season had a really great season with European silver and then some decent results here and there. This is a Canadian event, and I want to say that I really want the Canadian men to do really, really well here, especially Roman Sadovsky, because I feel like Roman Sadovsky deserves it. Who else is competing here? Alexa Rakic and Stephen Gogolet. I like all three Canadian men. I just want the Canadians to do well. Um, but yeah, overall, Canada will be kind of a battle, I believe, for second and third. I think Ilya Malinin kind of has the first place set. Second place, I'm gonna predict Kevin Amos, but that is a very like depends on his consistency. And then third place, I'm gonna predict Nikolai Momola again, kind of based on consistency and jumps and whatnot. Okay, guys, heading into the fourth event, we're already halfway there for the men. NHK Trophy has a very star-studded field. Headlining will be Yuma Kageyama, who is skating at a home event. Yuma Kageyama has been a multi-time silver world medalist. Last season, he was bronze. I feel like he will be very, very strong because he's at skating here at a home event. No major competition, though. Jungwon Cha did beat him at the Asian Winter Games. Jungwon Cha is competing here as well. We'll see that matchup again. It was a very strong matchup. Juwon Cha being a very, very good skater, Yuma Kayama being a good skater. At the Asian Winter Games, Juwon Cha did beat Kayama, but we will see for sure. Shun Sato was also literally here at NHK Trophy and had a very decent season last season. Very good results for him. Again, another skater who, as I mentioned earlier, improving artistically, and I really sorry, excuse me, not so relying so much on his technical skill aside or just his technical skill, but also the artistic side. Lucas Britsky is also competing at the NHK Trophy, and he is such a wild card for me here at this field. This field is a bit stronger than the field he's competing in at Grand Prix de France, but Britsky, depends on how consistent he is. Was Europeans last year a fluke? That free skate was it was magical, but and then he went to Worlds and it was okay. It was an okay program. Matteo Rizzo of Italy is kind of in the same situation here. Matteo Rizzo has unfortunately had a bit of a history of injury, and then coming back last season was really good. But then, it was some up and down results for there. He didn't end up going to Worlds, or World Team Trophy, I believe. Yeah, he didn't go to World Team Trophy either. But Matteo Rizzo is a very, very good skater who has had a lot of accolades to his name in the past few seasons. But, thinking about that, he didn't have the best season last season, but a good season regardless. And we definitely want to see him do even better. So yeah, hopefully that is, where we're gonna head for him. But he did pretty good. But we'll see. And so here at the NHK Trophy, I'm predicting first is going to go to Yuma Kayama, second to Shun Sato, another teammate of Team Japan, and third to Cha. Okay, Skate America is the fifth event, which is really weird for it to be fifth because the last two seasons has been the first Grand Prix event. Here, the main, the main talent here is Mikhail Shaidorov of Kazakhstan that I mentioned earlier, competing in China. So he will be competing here in Skate America. His technical potential is higher than the rest of the field, and so that's why I'm really, putting him as the headliner as first place here. Last season on the Grand Prix specifically, maybe he wasn't the cleanest, and so that led to, I believe he got a fourth and then a second, or yeah, I think it was a fourth and a second on the Grand Prix last season. And so it really does depend. Maybe his early season isn't his best like time of the season for him, and so maybe that does kind of depend. But still, I do think he's kind of solidly because his technical potential is quite high. I think he's solidly in first place. Jason Brown is getting Skate America, which I'm really, really, really happy with because I think the home crowd will really love him. But Jason Brown is getting Skate America. Artistically, obviously, he's the best in the whole field. I don't think there's like any doubt at this point that Jason Brown is just the best artist in the whole men's field, and he has a very solid chance of doing really well here with medals if he can get his technical side cleaned up. Last season was not the best, especially early last season wasn't the best for Jason. He was, messing up on his triple axles. And, I think a lot of people have pointed out he doesn't have the quad jumps that a lot of the other men have to really boost his technical potential. But that's totally okay because he does really good GOE on his jumps when he gets those jumps done. So he is really relying on getting those jumps done because he knows he has the artistic side kind of sold. So he's just um, working on the technical side, hopefully. I really want him to do really well, okay? Like, I really want him to do well. Diallo Grousel has a good chance, but as I mentioned earlier, it depends on under rotations for sure. It is so it's kind of hard to see like exactly where Jalen Grousel is gonna lie half the time because his under rotations could kind of go anywhere. Nikolai Momola, his teammate from Italy, is a little bit in a similar boat with his edge call on his LUTs and a little bit under rotation issues here and there. Jumps will be really the main thing with those two. Kevin Amos of France is also competing here. It depends on consistency as well. He does love Skate America. The past 2 years at Skate America, he's been second at Skate America. So maybe that is going to be something to motivate him that Skate America is kind of his event. We've noted in the past that he is really, really good on American soils for some reason. And so that could be the reason why he does really well here. Definitely another event that will be competitive. A lot of technical powerhouses here, but then two artists in Jason Brown and Kevin Amos. The TBD spot for Team USA, I hope it goes to Jacob Sanchez. I'm very surprised he didn't get two. I feel like he did kind of earn it or kind of showed his potential on the junior level and nationals results, but maybe that's just me. But anyway, first place here, I'm going to predict Mikhail Shaidora. Second place, I'm going to predict Jason Brown. And third place, I'm going to predict Nikolai Momola. Okay. The last event of the season for the men, the Grand Prix season, will be Finlandia Trophy, unless, of course, they qualify to the Grand Prix final. This one has a Adam Xiaohemfa, and Yuma Kageyama matchup that really could go either way. Both skaters with a lot of technical potential that we've seen in the past. Both skaters who's medal at Worlds. Both skaters who've won their respective continental titles. Both skaters who are, really developing in their artistry these days. It really could go each way. I think it really will depend on which one is cleaner. Last season, both of them kind of struggled with cleanliness in their skating. But I think Adam Schoenfeld and Yun Kageyama will really be close on this competition unless one of them really, really, really messes up and the other one does really, really well. But we don't know what will happen because that's like 5 months from now. Anyway, Jason Brown is also doing Finlandia Trophy, which is a little hard for me to imagine because Jason Brown is competing at Skate America the week before and then coming to Finland. It's a new time zone, the jet lag, the training's different. It really doing two Grand Prix events in a row is definitely always kind of like a hard thing for skaters for sure. And a lot of people note that it does feel a little unfair to them, if that makes sense, because some skaters have 4 weeks between their Grand Prix or 3 weeks for sure. But to me, Jason Brown is kind of a fighter, and I really want him to do well. So I hope he could be a wild card here. Maybe the two Grand Prix events in a row is gonna not go so well, but I really want him to do well. So I don't care. He's gonna do well because I think he's gonna do well. Um, What else? Jimmy Ma is a skater here who I think really can factor into this field. Jimmy Ma, he did pull a very big surprise last season, medaling at four continents when we did not expect that at all. Technically, he maybe is not the most consistent, but maybe there's a new leaf that we're turning for Jimmy Ma. No idea. Denis Saucia is here. I think he does have a bigger chance. This field is good. This field is hard for sure. Again, this quad Salcast is what I'm worried about, but he's artistically so strong, so I really want him to win a medal. And then Sota Yamamoto of Japan is also competing here, a skater who is quite competitive. Um, who's medal at the Grand Prix final even, who's done really well consistency wise. Not the best, but he's had a few medals here and there. His programs are not sometimes the cleanest, but putting it together could be really be here. And then Meteorito is also an skater who consistency will matter a lot. So those men are all very much in the middle path. They're fighting for that silver position or maybe the silver position, but definitely the bronze position. I feel like Roman Sadovsky could also do it. I just want him to do good, guys. I feel bad for Roman sometimes. I'm like, please do good. Land the jumps, Roman. Like you fought so hard. But yeah, I hope they also give the TB spot to Walter Virtanen of Finland, which I hope they really do give him that, which I feel like he deserves it. Like this might be his last season. I want to see Doctor Uncle Doctor, yeah. But first it will be Yuan Kayama for me. Second will be Adam Shamfa, and third will maybe be Jason Brown, but it could be any of those other like five men that I mentioned. Could be very open for this third one. I think this will be a very interesting event to see for the third place, the Finlandia Trophy. Okay, but yeah, I again, there's no like major comebacks. These are all skaters that we've known for a long time, and so the men are kind of being normal for once. Definitely not expecting any of these results to be exactly how I want them to be. The men being chaotic is the normal thing. The men menning is what we expect, and so I could the first place skater that I predicted could be in 12th place, and I would not be shocked. Anyway. Moving on to the ice dance event, instead of 12 skaters in the ice dance event, there are only two skaters, or two, no, there's 10 teams in the ice dance events. The ice dance, the Grand Prix remain in the same order. They're all competing in the same events, all four disciplines. Ice dance has, yeah, I'm gonna mention all the drama in ice dance in this kind of very short segment, but ice dance has gone through a lot recently. Let me go down to my little notes about ice dance. Ice dance hierarchy could completely break down this season, and we're not ready for it. There are two new teams that I have to introduce that we did not kind of expect at all, and we're not really ready for it. We don't know how well these teams could do on the Grand Prix, and then therefore we don't know how well these teams could do at the Olympics. We're not sure about how any of these teams will do. And so the Olympics could very much be a bloodbath, and nothing is sure now. It used to be so calm. Ice dance used to be a calm castle. It used to be so calm and easy to watch and normal and somewhat predictable. But now everything is breaking down. Everything is breaking down right before our eyes, and like we don't know. And that's why I'm scared about ice dance. I don't know, and I will explain why right now. Okay, Grand Prix de France is the first Grand Prix event for the ice dancers, and this is super competitive, and I could see this going so many ways. The main matchup is definitely between Theo Gibson from Britain and Guillaume Fabry from Italy. They were so back and forth last season, but then Theo and Gibson ended up getting that world bronze medal when Guillaume Fabry had gotten it for the past two seasons. Yeah. The thing to note is that Fear and Gibson placed third at Europeans, Guillaume and Fabry placed first at Europeans, but then at Worlds, the next competition they were both at, Fear and Gibson got a world bronze, Guillaume and Fabry ended up getting fourth place, and so they were very much back and forth last season, and a lot of people are seeing them as the main battle for the Olympic bronze, and so this competition will be kind of about kind of asserting dominance the first event out, you know what I mean? Both teams are very, very strong. Both teams have improved over the last quad for sure. One of them is gonna get the Olympic bronze, and I don't know which one. Maybe it's a whole different team. I don't know. The mystery team here, as I mentioned, a part of the drama is the French team now of Fournier, Baudry, and Cizeron. Very two very controversial skaters, but two ice dancers with a lot of accomplishments with separate partners. If you remember, Laurence Fournier-Baudry was once with Nikolai Sorensen, who ended up getting in a lot of trouble because there was his past was revealed with like sexual assault, and now he's kind of banned from competition. And then yeah, no one's really sure still about what happened honestly, but he's been banned from competition, and now Fournier Baudry is coming out with uh, Guillaume Cizeron. Guillaume Cizeron is the 2022 Olympic champion with his former partner Gabriela Papadakis. He's also kind of a controversial figure because he was like apparently kind of abandoned Gabriela Papadakis. He wasn't like the best partner to her, and then he supported this, and it's just there's so many things like this team is so controversial. Both of the skaters have a lot of history, but I guess they're together now. Birds of a feather stick together, you know what I mean? But there are two ice dancers with a lot of accomplishments separately with separate partners, making their debut on the Grand Prix together. There are so many questions surrounding this team. Nobody knows how they will do. Obviously, they are very competitive. They've both medaled at Europeans and four continents, and they've both done very very well at Worlds, and they've both gone to the Olympics before, but with separate partners. But now this is their debut season with each other, and so the main question is that like it's just so it's no, we're moving on. The Lithuanian team of Alison Reed and Saulius Embryulevicius perhaps did not get the scores they wanted last season. They were kind of, up and down last season. And then they ended up not qualifying to the free dance at Worlds with a devastating fall in the rhythm dance. But that could change here for a potential surprise. Brady and Somerville of the USA have had their up and down moments too. They were bronze here last year, but then I think seventh at their other Grand Prix. And so they could be factored into the medals here. We're not sure. And then there's two TBD spots for France here. I hope they give one to my favorites, Dupayage and Nabe, and then the other one probably go to Fraggi and Fourneau, who are mostly on the junior level but have moved up to the senior level this year. Yeah, French ice dance is a bit of a mess right now, but we do not know nothing. I have no idea. I think first place will be Yaron Fabry, second place will be Fiorin Gibson, and third place maybe Reed and Brulevich, but maybe Fournier Baudry Cizeron. But like, I don't no, I don't really want them. I don't want them. Like, I can't. I'm sorry. We're like nobody's can't. No. Like, I just can't support them. I'm just like, oh, like why? Why did this happen? But I'm not gonna judge that they come back as athletes for sure. As people, not the best people, but as athletes, like yeah, they're good athletes, and I guess they can come back when they want to come back. But Grand Prix de France will definitely be a very controversial event for sure. I think a lot of people are gonna watch it because it's gonna be a little shocking. Cup of China is going to be a good event. I feel like this has a really fun field. Chalk and Bates of the USA are definitely the headliners of this one. They're expected to win here. They are the three-time world champions now from the USA. However, the rest of the field is also pretty competitive. Smart and Deke of Spain had amazing results last season, including, I believe, was it fifth place at Worlds for Smart and Deke? It was an amazing free dance. Everyone loved it. They improved so much last season. But then Loporeva and Brissot of France had their European silver last season with a lot of good result as well. Both American teams here, Green and Parsons and Zingis and Kolesnik, have been super back and forth, both domestically and internationally, and they could be very much vying for medals here too. Green Parsons and Zingis Kolesnik are competing for the third place, along with a bunch. U.S. ice dance is so deep. A lot of people are very sure Chalk and Bates will qualify for the Olympics. Obviously, they are very much competitive. They're expected to win even. And then the other U.S. team, Akira Ponomarenko, those are kind of the locks, if that makes sense. But then the third U.S. ice dance spot is very much open. It could be Green and Parsons. It could be Zingas and Kolesnik. This competition will be kind of a mini showdown between the two, definitely to show which one will be, might maybe sent to the Olympics, maybe not sent to the Olympics. We're definitely not sure for sure. But I think first we'll go to Jong and Bates, second we'll go to Smart and Deke, and third we'll go to Loporeva and Brissot. But I think that third will be very competitive. Smart and Deke being second, that could be a very much a huge result for them here on the Grand Prix. Okay, Here at Skate Canada, home skaters Gilles and Poirier look to reclaim another Skate Canada title. I don't know what number they're at now, like four of them. I have no idea. They have a bunch of Skate Canada titles. So I'm super excited to see what they can come up with. La Joan Laga, also Canadian ice dancers, have been known to skate quite well at home. I think they are definitely going to be here for the silver. I think Gilles and Poirier are going to get the gold. Based on their upper higher scoring potential over La Joan Laga, but La Joan Laga, I think they will get the silver. Though they do face pressure from teams like Turkey versus Lewis, who have from Finland, who have medaled at Europeans, Carrera and Ponomarenko of the USA, who have medaled at Four Continents, Brady and Somerville, and Reed and Brulevicius as well. Especially those first two teams, I think Turkey versus Lewis, Carrera, Ponomarenko, they've reached the 200 mark as well. Lejwa Laga have also reached the 200 mark. Those teams could all very much be competing here for that second or third, yeah. Brady and Somerville and Reed and Brulevicius that I mentioned as well. They might not have as high scores, but they could very much be there too. Canada has to be a TBD spot. I hope they give it to Alicia Fabry and Paul Iyer, who I really did enjoy watching last season. But yeah, Canada here will be, I think, a calmer event, before all the drama. I think we'll get a lot of home crowd cheering here for Gilles and Poirier, who, I think this season for Gilles and Poirier, they could very much earn the Olympic title as well. They did beat Chocolate Maids once at Fort Collins last season. A lot of people were very much, looking towards them as, potential Olympic champions maybe in Italy, but we will definitely have to see. I think the Grand Prix will be about establishing their reputation for the season, establishing kind of their sense of dominance over the field, and we will see how they do there. But I'm very excited to see what Gilles and Poirier come up with for sure, as they come up with very inventive programs. So yeah, I think first place will be them, Gilles and Poirier. Second place will probably go to Le Joie Laga. Third place will go to, hopefully, for me, biased. I'm very biased. Turkey versus Lewis, but this is kind of tight field for sure. I think it could very much go to Carrera and Ponomarenko as well. But I'm very biased towards Turkey versus Lewis. I really enjoy their skating. I'm sorry. I don't mean to offend anybody, but I'm kind of biased. Okay. Moving on to the fourth event, the NHK Trophy is a very strong event here with another Fear Gibson and Guillaume Fabry matchup, just like the Grand Prix de France. I'm very interested in this new mini rivalry, I guess. They're not even fighting for gold necessarily, they're more fighting for bronze at the Olympics. But, you know, Fear Gibson and Guillaume Fabry, both teams, again, as I said, going back and forth. Perhaps one of them wins Grand Prix de France, and then the other one wins NHK Trophy. Perhaps, both one of the teams ends up winning both events. No one really knows exactly what will transpire, I guess, but we will definitely have to see with these two teams. Yeah, I don't know, guys. Like competing for the European title and then competing for world medals. Like these two teams are so competitive and evenly matched, in my opinion, that we don't necessarily know where they're gonna end up. And so yeah, Fear Gibson, Yara Fabry could kind of go anywhere here, but another matchup, maybe a rematch from the Grand Prix de France. I will say that the newly returned Shibutani Shipsibs, Maya Shibutani, and Alex Shibutani are huge enigma factors, what I call them. Like, we don't know. This is kind of the other half of the ice dance drama. Not drama, this one's not really drama. But the Shipsibs are making a return to competition after 8 years. 8 years, 8 seasons. They missed the whole quad and basically another quad. And no one's really sure where they will necessarily go. And so I really do think, Maya and Alex, I don't know, guys, the ship sibs, they could coming back after, 8 seasons. Obviously, they are very highly accomplished. They were the 2018 Olympic bronze medalists too. And what else? They did they win worlds? I think they won medals at worlds. I don't know if they won a world title. It's been a long time, guys. But yeah, they haven't competed in a long time, and so it's very question mark, question mark, question mark about Shibutani and the ship sips, and so I don't know if they could win a medal here. I don't know. We don't haven't seen them in 8 seasons, and so no one knows. No one knows. Okay. The more experienced, more recent Americans, Green and Parsons, are very much in the mix as well. I really enjoy. I really enjoy their very modern, contemporary kind of style of skating from Green and Parsons. I hope they do another style of that program. Orihara and Purinen of Finland would have a very amazing surprise medal, but it's kind of unlikely. But I really love to see that, and I love to see the Japanese ice skating teams as well. But first, I think Guillaume Fabry. Second, I think Fury and Gibson. And third, I think Breen and Parsons. But it could be the Shipsibs. The Shipsibs are, oh my god. I don't know what to say about them. I don't know. I really don't know what to say about the Shipsibs. They could go anywhere. Skate America has a bit of a chiller feel. I feel like Chalk and Bates are headlining probably their favorite event of the year. They always do Skate America. They always love Skate America. But great to see them there. I think they are going to be first. They are, the reigning world champs. They have so many accolades at this point. I think they're very much expected to win. The battle for silver and bronze will kind of be between Lajoie Laga of Canada, Loporeva and Brissot of France, and Korea Ponomarenko, also the USA, who are skating at home. I don't know if that will kind of factor into anything, but all three of those teams kind of have around the same scoring potential based on their elements. And I do think, overall, that would be a very competitive, tight second and third. Lajoie Laga, probably the front runners of that. And so that's why I'm going to put them second. First, Chalk and Bait. Second, Lejoie Laga. And third, Lopura and Brissot. There's a TBD spot for Team USA. Again, as I said, ice in the USA is so deep. 4 USA teams only have one spot this season, and so it could go to any of those. Maybe it's a new team. I hope it kind of goes. I don't really know. I don't know. Maybe the Brown siblings. I have no idea. Okay, and then the last event of the season is literally so bad. I don't know who came up with the. No, no. I don't know who came up with the people here. Whoever came up with it is kind of diabolical. I don't know how they drew these names out of a hat and they were just like, yeah. But Finlandia Trophy will be the worst competition of the season for ice dance, and let me explain why. Gilles and Poirier are kind of Canada are kind of set in the lead here. This is a home event for Turkula and Lewis and Orihara and Purinen in Finland, who are super strong at home, especially Turkula and Lewis. They have had very good scores whenever they skate in Finland at home, which is good for them. Smart and Deke of Spain are hoping to continue this season, the success of last season, and could do very well here as well. No idea because they had kind of lower scores at the beginning of the season and then really high at the end of the season. We're not really sure. But then, both those teams making those huge comebacks, Fournier, Beaudry, and Cicerone, very controversial team, as I mentioned, and the Shipsibs are making an appearance here, which is crazy. And I'm not sure who could place where. I think Gilles Poirier will win, and then second through sixth or fifth has 5 teams that I don't know where it could go. I think Orion and Purinen might be on the lower end of that just because their technical skills don't usually have a lot of high GOE, unfortunately, but we're not too sure. I really do enjoy Smart and Deke recently, and Dracula vs. Lewis. I'm kind of biased as well. So I think first will be Gilles and Poirier, second will be Smart and Deke, and third will be Turkey vs. Lewis. I'm literally praying for that because I don't know. The Shipsibs can make it on the podium for sure. We have not seen them in 8 seasons. That's my reasoning. I'm just I can't justify you being on the podium. I haven't seen you in 8 seasons. I don't know. I don't know. And then Fournier Beaudry season, I'm just no, I think you're controversy. You're a new team. You just started skating together. I don't know. I'm scared. I'm scared. But yeah, I'm just saying, Ice Dance is actually gonna go crazy this Grand Prix season. This could be it. This could be the end of Ice Dance as we know it. Yeah. But yeah, that's all for today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed me previewing the men's event and the Ice Dance event for the Grand Prix. As I said, these, assignments could very much change. We're not too sure where anyone will technically kind of go. But that's kind of it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys were not too confused by the format. I hope it wasn't too confusing. That was my main concern, but maybe I'll do better next week. Next week, I will be discussing the Grand Prix assignments for the women and the pairs event, so make sure you go check out that next week when I release that. And that is kind of all for this week's episode. My name is Ango. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Teen Talk Singing Podcast. I will see you next week for a preview of the women's and pairs events for the Grand Prix in this next season. I'm very scared for everything that is going to happen this season, and bye-bye.